a lot of major updates here. The Alabama football roster in terms of spring practice coming up here in the next couple of weeks here, and also with the season and the fall. So big updates to the Alabama roster. The first one being several of the early enrollees from Alabama's 2023 class. They have made it to the roster, whether it's guys like Dylan Larnigan, Eli Holstein's on the roster, Olase Ganin's on the roster, Malik Benson's on the roster. All of the early enrollees. Justice Haynes is on the roster, Tony Mitchell's on the roster, Jaleel Hurley. Most of all of the early enrollees have made it to RollTide.com. They're on the roster, height, weight, everything, as these young men are set to go. So you go to RollTide.com. Definitely check that out. All of the early enrollees, the spring guys, they are on the roster here for Alabama football. Also, Alabama's got a ton of depth on both sides of the football. When you look at several of the names from the 2022 class that chose to redshirt after this past season. Those names, a few of those guys, you look at quarterback Ty Simpson, chose to redshirt, only played in 4 games a season ago. So he was able to keep that redshirt year. You look at guys like Earl Little II, was able to redshirt. Elijah Pritchett, able to redshirt. Shaz Preston, able to redshirt. Traquan Fagans, able to redshirt. So quite a few of those guys that came in the 2022 class were able to redshirt. So they have a year of experience in the system. They have a year of experience in the strength and conditioning program. They know what the expectations are. They know how to handle things in Tuscaloosa. So this upcoming season, a lot of expectations on these guys to step up and perform. So Bama had quite a few guys from that 2022 class to take a red shirt, hang on to that red shirt year. So that creates a whole lot of depth there on both sides of the football. One of the big names that took a red shirt as a veteran player, you look at Justin Aboigbe, a defensive end. He came in the 2019 class from Forest Park High School in Georgia. And for Aboigbe, was starting off the season last year playing strong, disrupting plays, making things happen in the backfield, but unfortunately suffered a neck injury, had to have a procedure done there, which caused him to miss the remainder of the season. And instead of going to pursue the NFL draft, he decides to take the redshirt year and come back to Alabama. His name is on the roster, and with his presence being back, it's going to be huge to watch him take a lot of these young defensive linemen under his wing, but also put himself in position to be a high-round draft pick in the 2024 venue. As we move on here throughout the roster, 2 guys have shortened their names on the roster. You look at Jamarion Miller, sophomore running back, and freshman defensive back Desmond Ricks. So Jamarion Miller will now go by Jam Miller. So he will not go by Jamarion, he will go by Jam Miller. And with that being said, John, there needs to be an NIL deal coming out for him. I mean, whether it's Smuckers, whether it's the Bama Jelly, some type of NIL deal has to come out for that, because Jam Miller right there. And so for Desmond Ricks, he will go by Dez Ricks. So we have 2 young men who have shortened their names there on the roster. So you got that right there. And so last but not least, you got Emmanuel Henderson, who came in as a 5-star in the 2022 class from Geneva County High School here in the state of Alabama, and just a tremendous athlete out of high school. Last season, he served as a running back and wide receiver. He has made the full transition to solely be a receiver. It's now on RollTide.com. He is a sole receiver. That's his position for Emmanuel Henderson. So Alabama now has 5 scholarship running backs on the roster. When you discuss Jace McClellan, Roydell Williams, Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, and Richard Young. So Emmanuel Henderson completely now a wide receiver. But these are just all of the different updates here when you look at Alabama's spring football roster and going into next season.